I don't see how carrying a dread in the country is a problem.
Gidi ọ̀rọ̀ ni mo ń sọ fún yín. Ṣé ní Lagos State yóò worse?
Let me tell you something. Where you have your property is where your mind is.
Of course, that is what any reasonable person should do as far as this country is concerned. Today, the decadence in the educational sector in Nigeria is nothing to write home about. And you know very well that there's no country in the world that can grow beyond its level of education. If you check today, ASUU as a union has always been struggling to ensure that the university system is not destroyed the same way the public primary school and public secondary school have been destroyed. And what actually destroyed this is the fact that those that are supposed to be stakeholders are not active participants in that educational sector. They have no stake as far as we are concerned. If you check those that are in government today, virtually all of them pass through the public educational system, public primary school, public secondary school, public university, and even in Nigeria. But today, you see this same set of people that graduated from these institutions not putting their own children in these public schools any longer. They put them, it's either they be in the private institutions or they push them to the foreign schools. And this is the reason why you can see that facilities, the level of facilities, there is no care for this sector any longer. If you have a stake there, if you have a genuine stake, have your children going to primary school, public primary school, have your children going to public secondary school, definitely yourself or your wife or whoever will be part of the parent forum. And so they have stake. And by this, they will take care of that sector. Today, you see the UNESCO standard, for instance, for education is that about 25%, minimum of 25% of your budget should go for education. But in Nigeria, we have not at any point in time even reached 10% of our budget for education, simply because they have alternative. If there is a bill, if there is a law that states that once you want to serve as a public officer, your children should attend public schools. Not even public schools alone. Even public health, the same thing affects the public health sector. Okay, if they are banned from going overseas for training, for treatment, you will see clearly that all these, our general hospitals, primary health care center, and all facilities, health facilities in the country will be properly taken care of. It is simply because they see themselves as not being part of that institution. This is the reason why you see that level of decadence at that level.
It's a simple issue, and even the oppressors, I will start from there, who are in the habit of sending their children abroad, they know that it's not something they can boast about. So you hardly see them posting it or talking about it, because how will you be a House of Rep member or a senator or a governor in a state, in a country, and you are sending your children to go and school abroad? Not even the, let's say, second degree, the first degree. The issue and the reason is very simple. They want the best education for their children, and they don't care about that of the commoners. It's as simple as that. And as long as they continue to do that, they will not in no way pay attention to the educational system in this country. I can say it for a fact that the educational system in this country, which I also went through, is a mess. It is a mess. The educational system in Nigeria is in shambles. It's a cake. It's a cake. There's no improvement. There's no connection between the economic system and the corporate world. People have to come out again and build up themselves. So it is highly terrible, and Nigerians need to stand up against this. and the foreign country are actually not helping us, and you won't blame them because they need their money. You need to understand that when you are taking your children abroad, you are spending millions of naira. Many of them is not scholarship, it's money that they pay, billions of naira to make sure their children are all right there. So other countries, they want to get that money, but if they really want to help Nigeria, as a politician, as someone holding a political office in this country, they should be banned from sending their children to school abroad, at least first degree. If you say, okay, you want to go for a master's or PhD and you are interested, it's not a crime. People come to Nigeria to study. I attended Obafemi University, and the whites come to us university to study Yoruba, French, and some other language. It's not a crime for their masters. But first degree, at least, if your university are reputable and standard, you will never send your children abroad for their first degree. So our politicians are messing up, and they know that.
Very well. Is the proposal of the Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities that government officials should have their children in public schools is welcome in every way. I think there is this age-long proverb that it is he who wears the shoes that feels the pinches. You cannot know where the full effect of the rot of education when your children is schooling in Harvard or in Cambridge or in those Ivy League universities. Now, but must return to a fundamental question. And that question is that, do we have a ruling class in Nigeria that is prepared to do that voluntarily? Their instruction from the imperialist masters is that you don't really need serious education. You don't need to go into production. And that is why we have that kind of rent collecting ruling class. So the proposal of ASUU cannot be won voluntarily or won peacefully. This ruling class can only be forced to make that concession, to take a serious movement on the street to force them to that extent. That's even if they go to that extent at all. But more importantly is that we cannot continue to afford a government or a ruling class that cannot afford us education. If less than 26% of the 2022 budget is still less than that is budgeted for education, then what is not the use? That means that there is no future for education under this system. The only way that demand of ASUU can be achieved is by completely throwing out of power the entire ruling elite that is adamantly positioned to continue to send their own wars abroad. So the major thing is for us to build a political movement, and ASUU has been playing a leading role in that campaign in different press conferences, press releases, and all that. ASUU has already drawn the position and conclusion that the labor movement in this country have to launch a political alternative of their own. All the ruling elites in this country have just one party. It's just one football team with different jerseys. You have APC, PDP, ABGA. There are different jerseys of just one team. The oppressed people of this country need a political alternative of their own, and that's the way forward ASUU the next step ASUU will take in terms of calling a political conference, a conference to discuss the building of a serious political alternative in order to avoid the fast track to Sudan, where life is not only hellish, but it's also brutish and short.
Yeah, my take is that all public holders who are engaging in the government, no civil servants, all their children should school Nigerians, none of them should go abroad and school. Basically because they will know what the students in Nigeria are passing through. So that when there is a strike, they will easily know how the strike is being resolved. When in circumstances where the children are not in Nigeria, so when there is a strike, they don't bother. And the children of the poor are the ones suffering this against humanity. So our own position is that all public holders' children should school in Nigeria so that they can uplift the system and infrastructure in a university. Once the children are not schooling in Nigeria, the infrastructure will be decaying because the children are not there. A minister's children is abroad as the Minister of Education, how can you look at the education problem when there's a problem in the education sector? You will prefer not to bother at all. But if the children are in universities, are schooling there, and there's a problem coming up in that institution, he will stand up and ensure he resolves all this matter. So that is my position.
I think ASUU is getting the message of what's expected of them as an organization, a union that should be defending the interests of the masses. And I think they got a good dose of the tyranny, a good dose of what they are not supposed to get, the political poison that is killing education sector. So I'm happy that ASUU is demanding that all public office holders should send their children to school in Nigeria. That act is long overdue. We will support it. We are going to push it. Even kudos to ASUU. They also revealed of recent that the Nigerian government told them that they want to pass 1 million naira. They want to pass a bill that will propose 1 million naira for tuition fees. And one of the reasons why they are at loggerheads with the federal government is because they refuse the 1 million naira proposition. And going by what happened in Ondo some days ago, where the governor said he wants to propose over 2 million naira for tuition, it means ASUU was saying the truth. People can pay 165,000 naira for a year, and you want them to pay 1 million naira. So it's the right direction. We expect much more. We expect ASUU to engage them. We expected ASUU to resist the Nigerian government that slashed the education budget. The education budget must not be slashed for innovation of House of Assembly or whatever. So that's what's expected of ASUU, and we will support it fully. All the public office holders should send their children to school in Nigeria. Once you want to be a public office holder, your children are not going to school abroad. So your children are going to face the strike, they are going to face the bad roads, they are going to face the SARS brutality, they might even get shots at 200 level. Whatever we face, that we have faced and still facing, their children will be subject to it. So they will have that, that clarity of what we go through. It's just like when they take flights, they don't pass through the roads, so they escape bandits. What if you say that they can take flights and everybody's on the road anytime? So they face the bad roads too. All these vagabonds in power don't go by the roads. They take flight 99% of the time. They don't even know what the road looks like anymore. So it's very good. It's very good. We expect more. We need to, that's governance, at least where we are right now. Nigerians should understand that citizenship is not existence, is not living in a country, is not being born in a country. Citizenship is engaging governance, demanding for good governance. It is resisting anti-people policies, resisting police brutality. You just don't live in a country and you think you're a citizen because your papa and mama are from Nigeria. No, that doesn't make you a citizen. Yeah, the constitution says you have to be born in Nigeria, your parents have to be Nigerian, has to be Nigerian, but that's not it. Citizenship is when you exert your rights. You exert your political rights, your economic rights, right to education, right to cheap education, right to housing, you right to good policing. Whatever rights you have as enshrined in the Constitution, no matter how faulty the Constitution is, citizenship is enforcing those rights, not just existing like a lumpen proletariat that just sits at home and hopes that regardless the electricity tariff, as long as he or she can pay it, it doesn't care about the electricity tariff. But it does not realize that the electricity tariff affects production and kills the production sector and makes us dependent on imports and all that. So many things are happening that citizens are not stepping up to it. So if ASUU is proposing such bill to become a law, that's what is expected of them, and that's what's also expected of the student union